Badges don't grant extra rights. This is Cop Block Radio on the FPRN Radio Network. Here are your hosts, Eric, Adam, and Scott.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Cop Block Radio Show. Today is Wednesday, July 10th, 2013. We are live on FPRN and syndicated across the interwebs. And with me tonight, as always, is Adam and Scott. How you guys doing?
Good. How you doing, Eric?
Good. It's hump day. So.
I'm still screwing with my mic here. Forgive me.
So I guess we might as well just start off with the elephant in the room because it seems to be everywhere. Adam Kokesh last night, was it last night? His house got raided by the feds for, you know, his typical rabble-rousing, so I don't think they like him very much.
Yeah, like the one thing that I had was, you know that he knew it was coming. Like, if he had to have known it was going to happen, you know. You went and you put a video on and you showed what you were doing. Like, it wouldn't have mattered who it was. It would have happened. Like, they were going to be raided. It just so happened that, you know, with who Adam is and how awesome the stuff that he's doing is, and as many, you know, people as he's pissed off, you know, they just brought, like, twice as many guns and twice as many helicopters and twice as many, you know, Bearcats. I should have started a pool. But, I mean, we support him. Like, he's doing the right thing. But, free market, man. I should have started a pool.
Yeah, I mean, the amount of people that they brought to friggin'... They could have just knocked on the friggin' door and he would have come out peacefully, you know? It's not like they really needed to bash his door down and throw flashbangs into his house.
Yeah, I mean... They were there, what was it, you know, a couple months ago, whenever there was another issue with, you know, too many people living there. And, you know, they knocked on the door, and Adam let him in. Adam, you know, just let him in, whatever, come on in. You know, we're going to video and everything, but, you know, he's not a violent person. He's not going to just start yelling and, you know, screaming and do something crazy. Especially whenever they have 15 AR-15s at him, or pointed at him.
Yeah, and... What was the final tally? Something like 40 personnel were involved and a couple helicopters.
Yeah, I know there was like 2 choppers, 3 different sort, like the DHS was there, the Herndon police or the VA state police. It was, man, what a great way to spend your tax money.
Yeah, I mean, we all knew this was coming. He knew it was coming, though. We didn't know it would be this extensive, although I guess it shouldn't be too much of a surprise that it ended up that way.
Yeah, I mean, it is actually a good thing that they didn't, you know, do what they typically do whenever they raid a house and they, you know, shoot flashbangs in there and they didn't shoot his dog. So, you know, that's cool that he didn't shoot his dog. Must have been at the vet.
Yeah. So apparently they had the place blocked off, and they were there for 5 hours, and they drilled his safe open.
Is that what they did?
So right now, the last thing I saw is that he's being charged with having a Schedule 1 or 2 drug while in possession of a firearm. And what they're charging him with is having hallucinogenic mushrooms.
The good ones. I don't eat the other ones. I hate the taste of mushrooms. They're gross.
So that carries a possible... Well, the 2 combined is a minimum 2 years in prison, and the overall is 10 years in prison possibility.
Yeah.
So
I don't remember the specifics. We want to play the clip?
Yeah, so we talked to George Donnelly last week about from Shield Mutual. So this is a clip that they put out on behalf of Adam.
Hi everybody, George Donnelly of Shield Mutual here reporting on the Free Adam Kokesh campaign. Just to get you up to date on the facts, Adam was arrested around 8 p.m. Eastern Time last night at his home in Herndon, Virginia. an insane scene with perhaps 20 SWAT and other agents of the government attacking his house using a battering ram. They had armored personnel carriers. They had 2 helicopters, if you can believe that, all for Adam. They were executing a search warrant. It was Herndon police with U.S. Park Police. They basically ransacked Adam's home. They left it in a disaster. They damaged doors. They drilled open his safe, and his safe is a disaster now. They held them, all of the people in the house, for a while, and basically treated them extremely poorly. And then they only took Adam with them, and he's being held at Fairfax County Prison in Virginia on what appeared to be at this time to be only state charges of some kind of illegal substance possession, which is pretty nonsensical, but that's what they have cooked up for him this time. He is disobeying, and he's engaging in civil disobedience inside the prison, refusing to come out of his cell, according to NBC, and refusing to process, give his fingerprints and whatnot. I believe I got that from the Washington Post. We do not have the charging documents yet. However, Lucas, his business manager, reports that he is being charged with Class 5 and Class 6 felonies, which are respectively possession of a Schedule 1 or 2 illegal substance, and possession of a firearm and a so-called illegal substance. You know, we all know this is complete and utter nonsense, but that's what they're saying. Adam, if they can make these charges stick, which as long as we stay strong and support Adam, and Adam stays strong, him on the inside, us on the outside, I don't think they're going to stick. But if they were to stick, which isn't going to happen, he could face 2 to 10 years in prison just over this. This isn't even any DC or federal government charges related to the July 4th video, which is presumably going to be a different matter entirely. So here's what we're doing. The freeadam.net website from this morning has been updated. The social media presences. I've issued a report about what's going on with detailed information, sent out emails to the different email lists. Let's see. We have a call flood going on. You can get details at freeadam.net. We absolutely need your assistance. It appears that they did not arraign Adam today, and so they're going to try to arraign him again tomorrow on these charges. We need to get that call flood in full force tomorrow morning before the arraignment in order to have maximum impact before this event. So go to freeadam.net and you'll find the information there for participating in it. This is absolutely essential. And in the past, liberty activists have been, in fact, freed from cages just on the basis of outpourings of public support via call floods. And finally, we have raised in 6 hours flat $1,200 in order to fund 3 top-flight national press releases, because right now, Adam's higher profile than ever. CNN, Fox, NBC, etc., all covering him, but they're covering the police narrative, and we need to put out Adam's narrative. So thanks to those of you who have funded this press release, these 3 press releases. The plan is to get the first one out tomorrow morning, and then we're going to have the other 2 in the pocket for whenever they may be needed for Adam. So freeadam.net is where all the information is. We're working on a rally for tomorrow morning at the courthouse in Fairfax County, Virginia. So please stay tuned at freeadam.net. George Donnelly signing off. Thank you.
So it was good to hear, George getting on top of it quickly. Obviously, that's what Adam's paying for. So it's good to show that the service that George is providing is getting some mileage.
Yeah, I mean, he stepped right up. Last night I was getting ready to go to bed, and it was like the shit like hit the fan, and everybody's texting everybody and emailing, and there's people are tweeting about it, and Facebook's going crazy, and within 20 minutes, George was like, hey, let me take the lead on this. This is what Adam wants. This is what Adam pays for. Let's organize and be that strong minority to be the most effective. So. Yeah, it was pretty cool to see him just, kick it right into gear. I'm sure he didn't get much sleep last night. Not that anybody that was down at the house got any sleep anyway, but, All right, so you guys got anything to say about that? I think they covered it really good today.
Yeah, as far as activists in general, if they have something like Shield Mutual, that they should try to make it known a little more that should something happen, this is the place to go, just so everyone's not scatterbrained. I don't know how many people, just because we're a little more tapped in than everyone else usually, that we knew Adam had Shield Mutual, but I don't know if the average person or the average follower of Adam might know that particular fact. So they could get a little scattered if people don't know that this is what's going to happen should something hit the fan, and this is what Adam wants, and that type of thing, or this is what this activist wants done.
Well stated. What he said. I saw, we were talking right before the show, and it looks like we have more people in the chat, people that aren't the regular listeners, and we try and we don't. We're getting better at, giving out the phone number. We do this show live for a reason, so if you're out there and you want to call in, you can get a hold of us at 567-314-9296, and the passcode is 1234 and the pound sign, or a better quality, a clearer way to get in is actually to just add our guys on Skype. Our studio, FPRN, has a Skype, and just FPRN Radio Live. Add them, they'll add you back, they'll get you in the queue, they'll bring you in. So that's why we do it live. We want to hear from you guys. We want to hear your stories of, whatever's going on in your neck of the woods. So please feel free to call in.
So you posted last week a story, though I think we've touched on it a little bit, out of Detroit, basically a alternative policing service popping up. And then actually today I ran across another one happening out in Oregon. So maybe this would be a good time to talk about alternative policing services.
I hope that they're the wave of the future. I just, the system that's here now, it hurts. It hurts, like, it isn't getting any better, and it's progressively gotten worse. So hopefully, we can have the opportunity. I know there was an area close to me that had a police force that was being shut down. It was a small town, and I was so happy. Like, I was excited for that town, and I really wanted somebody to step up and say, well, hey, I'll provide that service, and whatever you were paying the cops, we'll charge less, because we don't pay for all that other, wasted money that they require. But unfortunately, nobody stepped up, and then the state police ended up taking over that area. But now there's not as many cops rolling around there.
Yeah, so now we have the story out of Detroit is, at this point, everybody should know that Detroit is completely bankrupt. They owe like billions of dollars. So so they basically have been cutting back on all their services and whatnot, and now there's a new company who's basically stepping in to fill the void left by the lack of services, and they're called Threat Management Center. It was actually started back in 1995 as a way to help fellow Detroit citizens in the midst of a rise in house invasions and murders. So they're basically a private security firm that kind of does what the police do in protecting your house and property and, making rounds and that type of thing. So from what I look at here, they currently have a clientele of 1,000 private residents and over residences and over 500 businesses that they provide services to.
Is it really that high? I had no idea they were that level yet.
Yep.
Yeah, if you think about what they're doing and what they're providing, there's no way that it wouldn't take off. These guys have a completely different philosophy that goes along with law enforcement. They're nonviolent. They are actually there to help, and they want to minimize everything, and they want to make sure there's a resolution. They're not there to work on their pensions and to hurt people and to express their authority. They're actually there to mediate and to help.
And they're providing a service that is being paid for through a voluntary exchange and not through the force of taking money through violent means and threats of violence.
Plus, they realize that there's competition out there. So if someone's paying them for a service, there could be another guy that's coming along who has a better service, something like DeMarnolo Defense Consulting. They could turn into something like that down the road, and they could be the competition for a threat management center. So that's all the more incentive for them to provide a good service at a good price that people want. Like, the demand is already there. So it's just such a better system, and it's going to take off. It's going to take off.
Yeah, so this other story that I found is actually out of Oregon, and if we track back a little while ago, we had a story where a lady called into 911, and they said they had no one to send to help her, as her ex-boyfriend was bashing in the door and ended up assaulting her, or sexually assaulting her, because they couldn't send anybody else. And
that's because they were too busy with the war on drugs.
Right, yeah. Later, the following week, well, I had predicted at the time that I wonder how much time they've spent on drugs in the area. And then that night, I believe it was the Huffington Post posted an article breaking down all the drug busts and all that stuff that they were spending their time on in that area. And so that's what they were spending their time on. So this is also in Oregon, and it might actually be the same county, Josephine County. I think that's the same one.
That sounds right.
So they have cut back their police force from 22 deputies down to 1. So now there's a citizens group who basically they are patrolling the area. They all have concealed carry licenses, and they're just making sure everything's good. So they have actually been roaming the streets, and I'm trying to find here where it says something like there hasn't been a single burglary since they started doing this, when last year burglaries were up 70% over the previous year, which is insane. And theft cases were up almost 80% over the previous year. So
I kind of like that, though. You got the thought of other neighbors walking around that are obviously wanting to protect that community. They're not just doing it because they're getting paid to. That's
yeah, so the group is called Citizens Against Crime, and they've popped up, obviously, because the community has, almost no police force left. But now that these local residents are basically on crime watch, the crime rates in the area have fallen to nearly zero. So it just kind of goes to show that you don't have to have your money stolen from you to be protected. Yeah,
I think that one thing with this, though, is, what we're talking about right now, you can tell that there's people who have a real sense of community, and they care about each other. And there's areas of the country that don't have that. Some of these inner cities where they have a lot of problems like that, they don't have that sense of pride that you're not going to do this in my neighborhood and get away with it. That's that's BS. It ain't happening. I don't care if the police are here or not. And I think that whenever you can grow that sense of community, it's going to make the need for these police forces that are run by the government through taxation, it's going to minimize the need for that. So I think that's one way that we have to improve society to where we can actually say, well, sorry, Mr. Policeman, your services are no longer necessary.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. Though in this case, it sounds like just getting rid of the state-sanctioned enforcers fostered the community sense, because they're like, we have a problem we have to solve, and we're not going to do it through violent means, and this is the solution they came up with.
Sounds like it's working pretty well. And they didn't have to steal anybody's money. They didn't have to force it on anybody else.
Yeah, I like that idea.
Yeah, I'm definitely into that.
Yes.
Yeah,
I think that's awesome. Go ahead, Eric.
That always seems to be a problem with trying to, these days, I don't even know why, but just getting to know your neighbors is almost a thing of the past. Like, I'm not sure why that's the case these days.
I could get into a long ramble, but I'm not going to.
Yeah, so I'm like watching the chat, and this guy wants to know what we think about the video of the cops shooting this guy's dog after they handcuffed him for filming it. I'm not sure. Did we address that?
Yeah, we talked about it last week.
Okay.
The video and everything.
I'm not sure where we ended up with that. I feel like the situation was actually kind of handled wrongly on all sides. The guy had the opportunity. If I would have been him and I would have had my dog, I would have left. Or I would have, told them, my dog's going to come out. The guy was wrongfully detained. He was wrongfully handcuffed, and that didn't help. But, in the end, no matter how anybody feels about it, the dog's dead, and the cops got away with it, and they're going to get away with it. Now, I did see that Anonymous posted a video, and I think that they took their website down to retaliate. I'm not sure that that's the right thing to do. I don't know, but it sounds like the people have spoken. Everybody's been very outspoken that it was the wrong thing to do. The guy's not going to lose his job. He's probably going to get a paid vacation. He's not going to lose his pension, so I don't know what else to say about it.
Yeah, unfortunately, the guy kind of broke one of those rules that you kind of got to lay out when filming the police, and that's to be respectful and try to mitigate the reaction, I guess. So it sounds like this guy was out of his car, though his car was just like blaring music over a crime scene, essentially. So that's kind of what possibly triggered it, and it isn't specifically the recording, though either way, it's still...
He didn't do anything to help himself.
Right.
So, no. I mean, go ahead, Adam.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say basically is that, when you're out cop blocking, you don't need to make yourself that present. Basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, he kind of ended up putting himself in this situation, unfortunately. So it's they're kind of both wrong, and just how this came out, there's not a whole lot you can defend on either side. Both sides are wrong, but
they definitely didn't need to kill the dog, though.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. The cops could have handled it differently. The guy, you could tell the dog was coming out. Like, he could have told him, hey, my dog's going to get out he was being very cooperative. He put his hands behind his back. He wasn't resisting. It didn't look to me like he was, being intimidating or arrogant or aggressive towards the police. This guy, but that once the cuffs are on you, the cops aren't taking them off. That's not what they do. But in this case, it would have saved the dog. If I wouldn't even feel bad if the dog would have bit him. I mean, it's just a person in a costume, and he's being attacked by two, and this person is being attacked by them. I want to defend myself no matter what. Defend myself, and I know that my animals would defend me no matter who it is.
Right. Maybe it seems to be a lack of training on the police and on holding. When was the last time? Not only has a cop never been killed by a dog, but when was the last time an adult was killed by a dog? Anywhere.
That's actually a really good question, man. We'll make our producers look it up.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything like that in forever.
How many?
Come on, get
adults,
on it. These guys are good, man. They are on it.
Yeah, I want to know how many adults have been killed by dogs in the United States, or even in the world for that matter. We know that small children sometimes do, but right. I want to know a full-grown adult. Because it seems like that would be almost never.
But that's usually when the child died. Usually the dog has been in a not good circumstance already.
Right. Or it's just a very, very small child. But yeah, I mean, well, yeah, right in the chat, he's like, he could have maced the dog, he could have tasered the dog. It's so stupid to discharge your firearm in an urban area just because a dog was looking at you funny.
Yeah, he was a big, mean, scary dog. Well, you have a gun. And you're beating up his owner. The Beast of the East, Josie Wales, who's like turbo super badass of Philly. Apparently she was down and they had a meeting today, and I know Mike Salvi went with, and they were actually talking to some sheriffs about the Constitution and how much authority that they actually have. And it sounds like the sheriff was actually talking about how to organize community watch and militia. So I'm not sure who the sheriff is down there. I'm not sure if this was. I think that they're outside of Philly, but this sounds like the kind of sheriff that we need to be electing in this country. Not that I'm for anything like those elections, but this is the kind of person that sounds like that needs to be more prevalent.
Well, if she has something to say, she should call in.
I know.
That'd
What's
be
up,
awesome.
Josie? You call. I know you have the number.
Skype would be best.
See, look, she says I can call him, but it didn't happen that way exactly. See?
An average of 17 fatalities per year in the 2000s. Oh, in the 2000s, it's increased to 26. 26 people per year die. That's interesting.
So that's adults, though, correct? Or is that just people in general?
They're still looking for adults. So that's 26 total. 26 people per year average during the 2000s. And 77% of those are of dog bites from a pet of family or friends. And 50% of those attacks occur on the owner's property. So if you narrow that down, only 23% of fatalities are of non-family friends of the pet owner.
I had my hand in a dog's mouth this weekend. I had one of my dogs, and there was, my dog's very, one of them's very submissive, and so the dog gets up in her face and thought he was going to bite her, and I just, I don't know why I jammed my hand. I guess it was the most convenient thing, but I mean, I lived. I didn't have to shoot their dog. It wasn't a real big deal, and the dog walked away.
Yeah, so according to they said it was 19 children and 19 adults in 2012, and 13 children and 18 adults in 2011. Though I'm curious if it's because of the trauma, or it's because something like the dog had rabies or had some sort of disease that they gave by the bite, or some weird reaction. I doubt it was a lot by the trauma. I'm guessing a lot of it was some sort of disease of the result of the bite.
Yeah. So I'm like patiently waiting. We have Josie on the line. I'm patiently waiting for the producers to cue the music, because I do see that it's time for a break. So we'll go to break, and then whenever we come back, Josie will give us the whole story. So stick with us at Cop Block Radio, and we'll be back.
In 1997, a high school shooting was stopped by a vice principal with a gun. In 1998, a middle school shooting was ended by a neighbor with a gun. In 2002, a terrorist attack was stopped by a school guard and a teacher with a gun. After September 11th, pilots began carrying guns to protect their passengers. Let's give our schools and teachers the same option. Sign the petition at defendschools.com.
Hi, I'm Trevor Moore. Due to the recent revelations that in order to fight terrorism, the NSA has been using a secret court order to spy on every single Verizon and AT&T customer, Americans have become outraged and concerned about their rights to privacy. But along with that concern comes a feeling of hopelessness. What can we do? Vote in new leaders? Well, the problem is that during an election, each candidate pretends to not be an asshole. Then when they get the job, they reveal that they've actually been a complete asshole this entire time. No, elections are of no use. The only way to fight back against our country's excessive wiretapping and data mining is to make it irrelevant. That's why we're launching Operation Everyone Talk Like a Terrorist all the time. If we all openly discuss terrorist plots in each of our phone conversations, then eavesdropping on those phone conversations becomes pointless. It's simple. We just need to work it into our daily vernacular. For example, instead of saying, "I love you," you could describe a terror attack. The larger the scale, the more you love the person.
Hi, Mom. I just got out of school. Can you pick me up?
I'll be there in 15 minutes. We use a truck bomb to blow up the Brooklyn Bridge.
I'm mailing anthrax to Cures to Morgan.
Or, nonsense about God's will being great could mean affirmative.
Hey, man, they have a 7:30 show, and do you think you can make it in time?
God is merciful and his love is unchanging. Did you already get me a ticket?
And those are just a few examples. You can make up your own. Have fun with it. But it's time for us to stand up and protect our rights. Because those assholes aren't going to.
Nothing is more American than Diamond Gusset jeans. 100% American made since 1987. Soft and broken in from the start, yet more rugged and durable than any jean you've ever worn. Have you ever experienced missized jeans from China? Well, you won't with Diamond Gusset. Every pair is crafted to fit exactly the same and always feel like they were custom made. Need a 35, 37, or 39 waist? How about a 31 inseam? We keep all sizes in stock for the fit you need. Looking for a relaxed fit, slim fit, regular fit, boot cut, or straight leg? We got you covered. Buy the world's best fitting jeans at gusset.com or call 1-888-8GUSSET. Get free Gusset targets for the next time you go to the shooting range with the purchase of their new Ranger jean. Use code COMFORT when ordering to receive free shipping on all Gusset orders at gusset.com. That's gusset.com to get only the best all-American jeans.
Hello, fellow patriots. This is Joseph Nazari, Director of Training Operations with Line of Fire, LLC, Professional Firearms Training Group, located in Las Vegas, Nevada. The fact that you're listening to this show is evidence to me that you are a true patriot and you do value your freedoms. As all patriots know, with freedom comes responsibility, and if you own a firearm, training should be an integral part of your personal defense profile. If you're considering quality firearms training, Line of Fire LLC should be your first choice. We teach all types of firearms training for all types of individuals, from the novice to the most advanced shooters. At Line of Fire LLC, we have a course for you. Please, feel free to call us today at 702-242-8288. We look forward to speaking with you soon. Once again, that's Line of Fire LLC, 702-242-8288.
You have reached the 911 emergency service. All operators are busy.
Oh God.
God, please help me. He's got a knife.
You have reached the 911 emergency service. All operators are busy. Stay on the line for the next available emergency operator. You have reached the 911 emergency service. All operators are busy. Please stay on.
911 operator, what's your emergency, please? Hello? Hello? Hello?
Last year in the United States, thousands and thousands of 911 calls went unanswered. And if you call from a cell phone, there's no way to pinpoint where you are. Yet politicians like Dianne Feinstein call for more gun control. We have one question. Why do these politicians have armed bodyguards? Can't they just call 911?
Thanks for listening to FPRN. Don't forget to check us out on Facebook and Twitter. You can listen live at www.fprnradio.com.
And we are back on the CopBlock Radio Show on FPRN and syndicated across the interwebs. We'd like to give a big thanks to our newest sponsor, Diamond Gusset. You can find them over at gusset.com. They make some pretty sweet jeans, especially if you're like Adam and need the extra room.
That was a burn.
Oh, you calling me fat?
Yeah, it is. And anybody else, if you want to advertise on FPRN, it helps out all the shows, and you can head over to their website. It's fprnradio.com, and there's a advertisers tab. You can just click there and get in contact with them, and they can hook you up. So before the break, we were talking about that we had Josie on the line, so we can bring her on now. Josie, you with us? Yes, no?
Way to go. Good job, guys. So,
did we scare her away?
While we're standing by, I just want to let you guys know that today I had artichoke stuffed badger wrapped in corn flour. That was my dinner, you know.
So I got some facts here. So of the 800,000 Americans yearly who get medical attention from a dog for a dog bite, 16 die, mostly kids under 9. This is per the CDC.
And what's the cause?
I don't know.
It's not. Is it the trauma or the disease? That's what I'm curious.
I didn't.
Their
have
heart
that,
stopped.
So.
That's usually.
Well, that means that a lot of
why.
people get attacked by dogs, though. 800,000 and only 16 die.
That's a lot of people getting treatment for dogs. That seems excessive.
I can't believe porn stars is on here too. I'm serious. It's right here. Between Flame, all capital Flame, porn stars, then AVN. But I did have a question, and I don't know if you guys could answer it for me, but I think Francis Marion's in the chat here. So there's a, you know how they have all the 3-letter acronyms. This one is 9. NAVWCWPNS. I'm not sure what that is, but I can tell you I'm not interested. I want no parts of that. Those guys, leave me alone, please. So whoever those guys are, Francis Marion's probably boys with them. So
yeah,
anyway.
We just don't want any credit card mail bombs.
Yeah, I got 2 of those this week.
You did?
Your kids dying from dog bites, most of them is because it's in the head or neck region.
All right. Well, there you go. So it's the kids who die from the trauma. Now I'm curious if the adults die from the trauma too. We'll see.
Keep looking.
Francis, yes, that's it. The first one, NAVWCWPNS. I don't know. Is that like on UrbanDictionary.com or some obscure sexual term? I try to stay up on those things, but I don't know.
Oh, did you see the thing where some government agency decided to like bash up a bunch of its hardware to try to stop the computer virus?
Oh, what?
I just saw it in passing and I didn't read the whole thing, but it's something like they bashed up a bunch of their hardware because they needed to stop a computer virus and didn't know how.
Those guys, employee of the month.
Just take a bat to it. That'll fix it.
Well, I mean, I have come to the
told them they should have just tased it.
Yeah, I have come to the realization that in the government, the less you do, the faster you move up and the more money you make.
All right, so I think we actually have Josie on the line now.
Yes, I am here. How are you boys doing tonight? Gentlemen.
Good. We only play your theme music once per episode, so next time you call in, we'll play it again.
Okay, I did not know that there was theme music, but thank you for that.
You're the only guest.
I must have missed that part. But yeah, how are you guys doing? I do love the show. I think this is awesome that you're doing this, and I think it's great. And whenever I get home in time to work, I listen live, and when I can, I listen later. So
awesome, thank you. And we love you guys at Mike Salvi's World too. But mostly you.
I pretty much. Oh, he started it. I just run that shit now.
Yeah, we know.
I'm only kidding. Mike, if you hear me, I'm just kidding. But no, yeah, tonight the sheriff actually wasn't there. I found out about it a little bit late, and God loved my father because he was the one who contacted me today and said, hey, if you're up for it, I heard about this meeting. It's the Sheriff Brigade's meeting, and told me about it. And I said, okay, is the sheriff going to be there? And he said, I don't know. But the Montgomery County Sheriff is actually pretty receptive to a lot of what we do. And she's been really cooperative, and it's one of those things where she's right on the edge, really right on the edge. So I did try to contact her today. She was in the meeting. I called a couple different times. The receptionist was not happy with the frequency of my calls. But, I tried to get her there, and she wasn't able to make it. So that is what it is. But, we have, we have our plan. And it was really interesting to hear a man named William Taylor Reed. I'm not sure if you guys have heard of him. He's incredibly intelligent. He was in the United States Air Force for 8 years. He was retired now from careers in electrical engineering, data communication, system sales, and marketing management. So he just kind of is really well-rounded and has a great way to approach things. So he just kind of explained how, and basically outlined a lot of the principles of true anarchism and voluntarism, which is difficult to actually point out to someone who is not used to those words and those terms. But basically just explained how the communities have to come together and form a neighborhood watch and a militia, and explained how that's not a scary word. And, he went through the Constitution and explained things, and he was just a wealth of information. And even afterwards, Mike and I and my father were standing around talking about how we learned so much. So unfortunately, the sheriff wasn't there. We weren't able to kind of, explain and talk to her, but she would have been, it was one of those situations where she would have been outnumbered anyway and felt cornered. And a lot of times, one-on-one or two-on-one or a nice little meeting is great with a local sheriff, So that, anyway, it was really nice to see the turnout that was there at such short notice, because this meeting was just organized. And there was, I would say, about 50 people there locally.
Nice. That's actually really good. I mean, I've been to some events that, you're lucky if you get a dozen people there, and the thing's scheduled for 2 months. So for short notice, that's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, it was really great, and it was very informative. And this man is very 100% constitutional oriented. Everything's based on the Constitution, and I learned things that we're all constantly learning in this quote unquote movement. I hate that word, but I don't have a better one yet. So we'll call it a movement. The freedom movement. we're all constantly learning from each other, from people who, like, this man has way more experience than I have. So I can't, say, what you're doing is wrong because you kind of, because you still do the Pledge of Allegiance and you still do this, you still do that. I personally have progressed in a different way towards, what kind of government I think we should and should not have. And it should be a government of the people. It should be, sovereign communities, basically. But yeah, it was a pretty cool meeting, and now we have an outlined plan of how we're going to kind of attack this and talk to, everyone now has these certain contacts on people are getting together and organizing these neighborhood watches, and it was really productive. It really was.
So you guys are really actually going to get ready to start doing your own, community defense or community watches, or?
Oh, so I mean that's what tonight was basically starting. It was getting people connected and getting people in contact with each other and finding out who, not who lives where exactly, but what neighborhoods and who lives closest to who, and just kind of making those connections and starting it. And everyone there was really eager to get involved. And, the one thing that this man, William Real, said, he said, I used to push people to bring, the next time you come to a meeting, you bring 10 people. He said, okay, I get that that's unreasonable. If someone can commit, if you guys can all commit to bringing 2 people next time, then think of how much the message will spread and how we can really put this together. And we need people who are trained. And he just explained back in history and back in the Wild Wild West, like the days of the outlaw Josie Wales. When they had
never heard of him.
Have you guys ever seen that movie?
Never heard of him.
Really?
Oh yeah, we got the theme music.
Oh, I was like, oh my god. I grew up watching. Obviously grew up watching that movie. And people joke about it, but that nickname actually started for me at the age of 10 years old. In softball, my coach called me the Outlaw Josie Wales, and it just kind of stuck. Lo and behold, now the way I live, I guess, is technically considered an outlaw.
Now you're an outlaw
rock
rock
star. That's the way it's gotta be. What?
Now you're an outlaw rock star.
Well, I wouldn't say rock star. I would just say, we do what we do. And we're lucky in Philadelphia to have a really solid, close crew, and it's just, it's great. It is really great. And it is tough because there are a couple states that are really, really strict and really just absolute police states. This last smoke down, I don't know if either of you were there or saw any footage of it, but it's a little intense, to say the least, to be filming someone and be pushed around and then, you turn around and all of a sudden 2 inches from your face are, dark green clad stormtroopers with billy clubs swinging at you, and you're kind of like, what did I sign up for, kind of a thing. So, it's expected and this is going to happen, but it's different when you're in the moment. And then I guess at that point, adrenaline just kicks over, and I got mad and just started asking every civil affairs officer if he thought that was okay.
I saw that. I saw the video that you posted, and I know Mike was, talking about it a bunch, and I try to avoid Philly, but if you ever see a person there with a fishing rod trying to talk to the fishing boat guys down there, that'll be me. I'll be asking them a lot of questions because I know those guys always show up for some reason.
There's only one, and it's hysterical. Jim Babb put that guy on the map, man.
He did.
That was, I'm sure you guys saw that, but that was hysterical. And I love Jim Babb. Like, Jim is my, I guess, Liberty wingman in the sense, because we do live close to each other and carpool, and we do our things, and I'm close to his family. And, but it is just so, he makes really dangerous situations hilarious, to the point where, you relax a little and you're able to respond in a way that's, not irrational. Now, he wasn't there, and you know what? It was strange how in the movement people, take over certain roles, because there was one point where someone was a little inebriated and causing some issues and making the situation worse, which is the opposite of what we wanted. So Adam Kokesh, I have never really seen, no offense to Adam, he's a great guy, never really seen him be funny before. But, you know, he kind of took over, grabbed the megaphone and directed the attention away from this person and totally channeled his inner Jim Bab and was hysterical, thanking, you know, each one of the agencies for what they do and, you know, it's trying to escort them out of the freedom cage, and it was a very intense event. But like I said, it's necessary, and you know, the next one's coming up. Hopefully, you guys can make a trek down because they're always interesting. I mean, they're never not memorable. We'll put it that way.
Yeah, it seems like, I mean, just the footage and, you know, even beyond that, some of the people that are there, you guys attract the right kind of people, the people who are, you know, part of the movement, but they're good people. And I think that that's one of the things that's contagious. Whenever you have a group of good people, you're going to attract the right people, and you're not going to have, you know, people that are, you know, you're not going to attract some asshole into your group because you're all good people, and, you know, people don't put up with that. Now, I'm not saying you're not going to attract a bunch of guys with earbuds, because we all know that's the case, unfortunately. But then you have guys like N.A. Poe who comes up with an earbud that's, you know, wrapped in paper.
Right, I know what you mean. Yes, I know what you mean, and it is great, and it was really, like, it was interesting to see the dynamic because, you know, Poe's always been the front man who speaks and organizes and is the voice of reason, and, you know, in order for him to be able to stay present in the movement, he really, and everyone's like, oh, you know, not everyone, but certain people say, oh, well, you stayed out of there and you're not really devoted to this. Bullshit, shut up, listen. He has devoted so much time, energy, blood, sweat, and tears into this, and he wants to be able to continue to do it. So in order to do that, he's present, and he's still talking, but just because he's standing 2 feet to the side doesn't mean anything. So in that case, Chris Goldstein, Mike Whiter, these guys just really, you know, took it and ran, and they were just, I mean, these warriors, just these voices of reason, who put themselves on the line, you know, to grab the most attention, knowing what could happen. They could be detained, cited, you know, all of these things. It was very clearly organized, and it was really nice to see. I don't think we expected the stormtroopers, to tell you the truth. We expected a heavy police presence. We didn't expect, this is the first time I've seen DHS, any kind of DHS there. Of course, we've seen them at Kokesh and Poe's, the federal arraignment, and, you know, at the courthouse, and they explain that it's always been that way. I was like, no, it has not always been that way. The Philadelphia DHS was formed in 2002, so how could it have always been that way? But, you know, they just, for these certain situations, there's these, I don't know what it is that's so threatening, but, I mean, freedom is what's so threatening. But out of every single smoke down, there's never been one threat of violence by any single protester. So it's completely unwarranted and just completely unnecessary.
Yeah, it's kind of funny how they always talk about, you know, you said they don't like our freedom, and they always talk about how people of other cultures or other countries hate us because of our freedom. And, like, I just had that, you know, that click there whenever you're talking about, like, the government hates us in the movement because of our freedom. That's exactly why they hate us.
That's a really interesting way to put it. I didn't know that's where you were going with that, but I've never thought of it that way, and that's a great way to think of it. I mean, it's an interesting way to think of it. Not a great way because it sucks.
It's terrifying.
It really is, and it's just, we need more people. We need more people. We need critical mass, and we're getting there slowly but surely. I'm going to say this to all the ladies listening: we need more of you. We need more women, because you know, it's all well and good, and you know, we have a great time, and it's great that you show up, and I totally appreciate it. But let's get involved, and let's, you know, that kind of thing.
I don't think that anybody listening, anybody chatting disagreed with that statement. You got like 100% on support on that one. So
yeah, we definitely need more. this is the thing that I said, because I posted something in a TFP trying to organize like a women's meeting, and I said, you know, the numbers that we lack, you know, gender-wise, you know, on the women's side, we make up for it in the strength that we have in the women that we have. Like, the women that are there are just, they're vipers, man. We got Diane, we got Vanessa, we got Rachel, and they're just so strong and so great. But God, could you imagine if we had just as many strong women as we had men? It'd be phenomenal. It'd be great. It would just be, we'd take off, and it would be more attractive to the public. Like, it would attract more men. It's like the silly things, the superficial things, but those are the things that we need to use, because the media is twisting it and using it the way they want to use it. So let's try to cut down on what they can use and try to make what they do show look good.
Yeah, we actually, I'm talking to producers, it sounds like, you know, one of your fellow female freedom fighters, Toni, is on the line here too. So she called in.
Good.
She's got her, you know, her big court case. So thank you so much for calling in, Josie. And you know, we keep up the good work. You guys are awesome in Philly, and at FPRN, we love you guys over at Mike Salvy's World, and you know, at Laugh Factory.
Well, thank you. We love you. We love you too, and I appreciate you letting me rant at you. And I'll, you know, keep listening, keep promoting the show, and you guys have a great night.
Thanks, Josie. Take care. Thanks. Have a good one. So
thanks, you too. Bye.
So I think that you know, we're getting ready. We got a couple minutes, Eric, but it sounds like we have Toni on the line.
Hey, gentlemen, how are you doing this evening?
Good. How are you? Awesome.
Doing good.
All right.
So you had your court case that ended up getting pretty much cut short and kicked down the road, apparently.
Yeah, it's very strange. Something really stinks, if you know what I mean. When we got there, it's just really confusing, all of it. I mean, it's a basic code violation. Nobody can give me the actual statute that I've violated. Like, it's right now I'm feeling like a mixture of just kind of an embarrassment almost for Sugar Creek. I guess that's a bit. Anyways, long story short, we got there. The news was there. We had some supporters there. That was really awesome. And we noticed that there were signs on the door, and all of a sudden that there's no longer anybody allowed in the courtroom unless you're a defendant or a subpoenaed witness, basically, which was new. And they were trying to keep media out and the public, which is, you know, red flags all over it. And then like the KCTV5 lady was pretty much like, no, this isn't gonna fly. Making phone calls really loudly, even in the courtroom, making comments such as, you know, like, I'm having a hard time understanding why the judge can't even come up with a law that she's breaking, and like, so it was definitely really weird right off the bat. But yeah, and as soon as they realized they weren't getting away with that, there were supporters in the room. The media lady basically got clearance to sit down, and the first thing that happened is my name was called out of order, you know, and they immediately said continuance August 13th. So, I don't know, it's really confusing. They're trying to, it's like almost 6 months old now, so I guess they're just trying to figure out some other way to extort money or resources from me, or I don't know, it's really confusing. It's interesting. Like, I was excited to get it over with, but I think they're hoping that maybe by next month some of the media will have died down.
And I guess this seems to be a ongoing tactic in this case. But can you stick with us through the break, and we'll bring you back?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
All right, cool. So we'll talk with Toni some more after the break. You are listening to the CopBlock Radio Show on FPRN.
And New Orleans, they call the rising sun.
Mr. President, members of Congress, you've been making a lot of noise about taking our guns away. But you might want to review history. 1835, Gonzales, Texas Territory. The authorities wanted to confiscate the big gun that protected that colony. You know what the people said? Come and take it. Because they were willing to fight for their freedom and their guns. So are we.
Come and take it if you want it. Come and take it if you think you can. Come and take it, but I warn you, you'll have to pry it from my cold dead hands. We want the freedom that God gave us, so you best not cross that line. If you want this gun, you gotta come through us and take it.
One shot at a time. Just like Gonzalez, we're keeping our guns.
Hello, fellow patriots. This is Joseph Nazari, Director of Training Operations with Line of Fire LLC, Professional Firearms Training Group, located in Las Vegas, Nevada. The fact that you're listening to this show is evidence to me that you are a true patriot and you do value your freedoms. As all patriots know, with freedom comes responsibility, and if you own a firearm, training should be an integral part of your personal defense profile. If you're considering quality firearms training, Line of Fire LLC should be your first choice. We teach all types of firearms training for all types of individuals, from the novice to the most advanced shooters. At Line of Fire LLC, we have a course for you. Please, feel free to call us today at 702-242-8288. We look forward to speaking with you soon. Once again, that's Line of Fire LLC, 702-242-8288.
In every age, a technology is created that upends the foundations of society. The wheel, the printing press, the internet. Now, in a world sliding into financial chaos, a new technology is changing the way monetary systems work around the world. It is called Bitcoin. Bitcoin is a new form of money, controlled not by banks, governments, or corporations, but through mutual commerce between free individuals. To learn more, visit weusecoins.com.
Talk about a wake-up call. I was paying for all the doctor's visits, insurance premiums, and medical costs out of pocket. All these expenses were keeping me from living the carefree lifestyle that I wanted. Then the government told me about Obamacare. Now with Obamacare, I don't worry about my health care. I eat whatever I want, whenever I want. I get all my prescription drugs for free, and there's no more coverage gap. I no longer need to worry about pre-existing conditions. We can see any doctor whenever we want for any reason, and so can everyone else.
Obamacare is not for everyone, like Congressman. If you are already healthy, do not use Obamacare, as you will see your premiums go up. If you are a sick person, do not use Obamacare, as you will see your premiums go up. Many people on Obamacare may experience longer wait times and fewer doctors, and denial of your treatment of choice. If you are faced with a healthcare situation, you may be denied treatment through government rationing.
Obamacare even covers my kids up to age 26.
If you experience a recession lasting more than 4 years, stop taking Obamacare and contact a travel agent to move to the Bahamas or New Zealand.
And the best thing is that Obamacare is free.
Obamacare is not free. Obamacare will increase the national debt by $863 billion in 10 years. Your taxes will go up $569 billion by 2019. If you see a major jump in your premiums, you should opt out of Obamacare immediately. Opting out of Obamacare is illegal and will incur major fines and penalties unless you are a union member who received a special waiver from the Obama administration. Obama is not responsible for the negative effects on the economy, your pocketbook, your freedoms, or your health.
Obama solved all my problems.
Obamacare. Live your carefree lifestyle.
Nothing is more American than diamond gusset jeans. 100% American made since 1987. Soft and broken in from the start, yet more rugged and durable than any jean you've ever worn. Have you ever experienced missized jeans from China? Well, you won't with Diamond Gusset. Every pair is crafted to fit exactly the same and always feel like they were custom made. Need a 35, 37, or 39 waist? How about a 31 inseam? We keep all sizes in stock for the fit you need. Looking for a relaxed fit, slim fit, regular fit, boot cut, or straight leg? We got you covered. Buy the world's best fitting jeans at gusset.com or call 1-888-8GUSSET. Get free Gusset targets for the next time you go to the shooting range with the purchase of their new Ranger jean. Use code COMFORT when ordering to receive free shipping on all Gusset orders at gusset.com. That's gusset.com to get only the best all-American jeans.
Thanks for listening to FPRN. Don't forget to check us out on Facebook and Twitter. You can listen live at www.fprnradio.com.
Heist, it was all about me. It was all about you. It was all about me. It was all about you.
Tell me what you want. You can't see, don't make your mind up. No.
And you're listening to the CopBlock Radio Show on FPRN and hopefully syndicated across the interwebs. Before we went to break, we were talking to Toni, and for those who haven't been listening to the previous episodes, and apparently Toni actually dropped off the call, unfortunately, but we were talking to her, and just to kind of recap for those who haven't heard, she has been threatened by the town she lives in she had some old tires that she had on her property that she was going to use for planters in the spring. This was in the winter when they were covered in snow, and she only had 3 last I knew, and they ended up citing her for having who knows what, and as she said, they couldn't figure out what statute to actually charge her under. So the second she got into court yesterday, they went immediately asking for a continuance, and it's been pushed off to sometime in August. So
I can't believe Go ahead, Adam.
I was going to say, I enjoy the fact that she said that when she was in court that the actual local media was standing up for her. That's pretty impressive in my opinion.
I mean, the whole thing was just completely absurd to begin with. Wasn't she using tires as decorative flower pots? Is that what it was about?
Yeah, pretty much. She hadn't decorated them yet. They were just sitting under a porch.
Yeah, she just had them stored so she could use it. She's using them now. She's actually got plants growing in them. She's got pictures on her Facebook and everything. And the plants are huge. I mean, she filled them full of dirt, and they've got plants growing out of them. They actually don't look too bad looking.
And the place that she lives, she leases the land, and the owner of the land thinks they're great. They don't have a problem with it. So for some reason, the city has a problem, but the owner of the property does not. And so what's the problem?
Well, wasn't there a video or something that came out, and there was a cop that was just like, "Look, I don't agree with it. I'm just doing my job."
I'm not sure.
I don't know if that was her. Maybe it was somebody else, but it was just like, I thought that the cop was just kind of like basically admitting how absolutely absurd it is that she's getting in trouble for having recycled materials on her property, trying to make it more decorative. But I don't know if it was her or not, but there was somebody and it was, "Oh, well, I'm just doing my job." Like, I'm so tired of hearing that.
I know that is no excuse for anything, any action you take. I'm just doing my job. Well, you should probably think about your job first.
No brain necessary. Zombies, that's what they want. Robots and zombies.
Mindless control.
Mindless control?
Yep. Just do what you're told. Don't ask any questions.
Yeah, that kind of the ingrained statism isn't just exclusive to law enforcement in general. We saw back, although for some reason it got posted again today, but Antonio Bueller down in Austin with the Peaceful Streets Project, he went to court and was charged with disorderly conduct for telling a cop to go F off. and it was on video, and I found it really funny that, it's not funny, it's extremely sad that in the article they wrote that during jury selection, most of the people who were selected for the jury said that if it was against the law to hold their partner's hand, they wouldn't do it. That's how slave to the words on the paper that lawmakers write down they are.
They don't get it. They never... one thing, I mean, you have to think about it. I mean, I don't know how long you've been like thinking the way that you think right now, but I mean, for me, it hasn't been that long, and it was kind of like, okay, I'm starting to go downhill. Now it's just like, oh my God, the hill's gone. Forget it. Like, we're at the bottom, and everybody starts out, and they're not there. So there's so many people. I mean, think about 8 years ago. Like Anthony Antonello was talking about 8 years ago, whenever he was becoming an activist, and how big, how overwhelming it would have been to have that many people. And it's, I mean, you have to start somewhere. It's unfortunate that they're, all on the jury, basically. And I think that there were some of them that had relatives that were police officers. But, it really sucks that we're still outnumbered. And by still, I mean, like, we are outnumbered.
So, since this is CopBlock Radio, and CopBlock is a decentralized project that is spread across the world, we have CopBlock chapters in other countries besides the United States. I guess that's one step people can take, or they can either start up a chapter in their area, or a Peaceful Streets project, if they don't like the moniker of CopBlock, or any other groups. But there's also various outreach that people should be doing if they can, as far as like jury outreach. There's plenty of information from like FIJA, that's the Fully Informed Jury Association. You can get over there at FIJA.org. And there's the Don't Take a Plea and whatnot. And what's kind of sprung up over here in New Hampshire, I know it's now happening in Manchester and now in Keene, that in Keene, the police logs the arrest logs are published once a week. So what people are doing here, they go through the logs and they pull out every person who has been arrested for a victimless crime, such as drug possession or an alcohol-related charge or something like that, and they send them out a packet of information, such as the Don't Take a Plea, what you can do, like jury nullification stuff. And Manchester is where it actually started, as far as I know, but they unfortunately do theirs once a quarter or something like that. So, but they send out, packets of information to people who have been arrested for victimless crimes. And that's kind of one way that, people in their locality could kind of get the ball moving. And that's kind of one of those non-confrontational, you don't have to be out putting yourself out there type of forms of activism. If you guys got anything else?
No, I'm good, man. I agree. We'll get it.
So I don't know if we want to touch on this article that just got sent through the chat about though it's kind of funny, that the lawmakers have in Florida have recently voted to ban all internet cafes because they worded a bill so poorly it effectively outlawed every computer in the state. Interesting.
Yeah, it was good to talk about in the chat, and I searched it up real quick. Found it.
Yeah, so it looks like in April, the Florida governor, Rick Scott, approved a ban on slot machines and internet cafes after a charity tied to the lieutenant governor, Jennifer Carroll, was shut down on suspicion of being an internet gambling front. So it sounds like a typical lawmaker mistake is that they worded it so poorly they ended up banning everything.
Is that kind of like whenever they were talking about Obamacare and they said, we'll just pass it and we'll read it later?
Yeah, it
sounds
says
pretty familiar.
The ban defines illegal slot machines as any, quote, system or network of devices. So that pretty much covers every computer, every cell phone, every Xbox, PlayStation, like any electronic device that doesn't stand by itself.
So basically, we're going to make something illegal that we don't agree with and take a whole bunch of other rights away along with it.
Yeah, the typical unintended consequence of legislation, I guess. So that's really it. All I have on that one. And that just kind of popped up in the chat. We figured we'd talk about.
I'm just
like
thinking of the possibilities. Like, okay, well, you can't look up any more license plates whenever you pull people over. You can't. There's.
Yeah, that's a network.
Let's start. Enforcing that shit.
Yeah, that'd be great. No, the cops can't have. They can't have radios because that's a network of devices.
Yeah, no license plate scanners.
No in-car computers, no cell phones, no communication devices at all, except pen and paper and snail mail. That would be great.
Morse code, network.
Yeah, that's a network. Yeah, that.
They have to drive around with cups and strings.
That could be a tangled mess.
That's a way to tie their hands, right?
Yeah, we could only hope so.
Ha ha! So you guys have anything specific you guys want to talk about?
I feel so like I was like sitting here, last week whenever we have the entire week to do show prep, and I mean we get these lists. There's just so much stuff that it's so hard, and I wanted every week I'm like, oh, we should have somebody post something, but there's so much out there that we find, and you have a whole week, you got 7 days, and I'm surprised. Like last week, we started it early for this week's show. It was 2 weeks ago. Really, there's just so much out there to find, and it's so scary how easy it is to find, and it's hard for me whenever I look for this stuff and I find so much, and there's still people out there that don't care or that aren't willing to accept it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're doing a good job. They're just doing their job.
Yeah. They need their job.
Yeah. Where's that South Park episode there, producer? That South Park clip.
They took our jobs.
So,
yes.
So, Adam found this. He sent it to us 10 minutes after it's actually published, and this is from RT, that soon the military may be patrolling the streets of Chicago if State Rep Monique Davis has her way, as she is asking the governor to deploy National Guard troops into Chicago because the epidemic of violent crime that it takes place in Chicago.
Yeah, it's because they have so many guns,
I know.
They're dangerous. Jesse Jackson said so.
I mean, the statistic came out that they had over 2,000 people were shot in Chicago last year.
Well, yeah, in the article, we got 100 people in the first 10 days of July already. And they have the strictest gun laws out of any state. Any imaginary line border in the United States.
Yeah, the strictest state, and then the strictest city in the strictest state.
Yep. And they have more violent crimes than any of the rest of us.
And people still don't understand. Like, how can you not understand? Okay, we're not allowed to have guns in this state or in this city. Also, everybody's dying from guns. Like,
and then they want to bring in more guys with guns.
Yeah. Gun control, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah, I just don't see how bringing in the National Guard is going to help at all. You're just going to freak people out.
Well, they may freak them out only for a short time. I mean, eventually it's going to be the norm. Like, we're going to be, people are going to be desensitized to it. That.
I mean, look at what happened up in Boston. You know, you talk about this stuff, and whenever Boston was going on, we sat there and I had a couple really good conversations with people about, you know, what actually had happened after, you know, the explosions. The entire city was on lockdown, and people were cheering, and people had no problems with it. And I mean, as a person who's free thinking and accepts personal responsibility for my own safety, that was actually scarier to me, to have that many people who are notoriously irresponsible with firearms pointing them at people and violating their personal space and actually terrorizing people. That is terroristic, to point a weapon at someone. That's a terroristic threat. To point a gun at somebody, many people defend themselves who have guns pointed at them. And, you know, after they found this person who had allegedly committed this crime, and I'm not saying either way, like, this has nothing to do with that. People were cheering that, hey, you're the heroes. Like, you guys didn't do your job. You guys had the NSA, and the FBI talked to these people. NSA was listening to their phone calls. They're listening to everybody's phone calls. You failed at your job, and then everybody cheers when you're the hero. Like, oh, I spilled the milk. Hey, man, great job picking it up. You did a great job. Thank you.
And it wasn't even, from what I remember, it wasn't even them that found it. It was some guy that walked into his backyard and noticed there was, blood on his boat and pointed it out.
Yeah. Hey, guys, check this out.
Yeah, come look at this. This just doesn't look right. So it was an average person that found him, and not them terrorizing everyone to find him. I remember watching those videos, seeing the videos come out of all the people, huge crowds of people cheering. I remember listening to them and just being almost sick to my stomach that these people were cheering like that because after what they have done.
And how many rounds did they fire at him, even though he didn't have a weapon with him?
More than necessary. I think
I guess more than one is more than necessary. Yeah. I guess, but it's completely ridiculous. And to Scott's point, as you mentioned, you know, they're pointing guns at innocent people. Apparently, these people didn't get standard gun training, where, you know, one of the primary rules is never point your firearm at anything you don't intend to shoot. Mm-hmm. Apparently, they missed that memo.
Yeah,
I seem to see cops do that all the time, though. And these are the guys that are supposed to be trained to know these things, and they point them at people all the time.
Right. Yeah, but in this case, they're just waving them around willy-nilly as they're driving down the street. It's like, you're not even going after... You're not even engaging with anybody, yet you're pointing it at innocent people. That's completely unnecessary.
Yeah, more like, silly cops, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah, defending honoring your oath, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
Defending people, also wrong. You know, you were talking about how many, you know, this guy didn't have any guns, and they were pointing guns at people. And it's how many innocent people are shot each year. You know, there was an article that I was reading, and there was a couple of them. There was a guy who had a cell phone in his hand, shot and killed by the police. there was a guy who had I think it was underwear. The person had no pants on. He had underwear in his hand. They were in a dark alley, shot and killed by police.
A guy watering his lawn.
Yeah, yes, that was another one.
He was watering his friend's lawn, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's watering his neighbor's lawn.
Terrorist.
Yeah. Terrorist.
Oh my god.
Yeah, there was. The producers just talked about that too. I don't think that guy was shot, but he was tased. It was a story of a guy who was. There was a house that was on fire, and I think it was his home was on fire.
Oh, that's a totally different one.
Yeah, that's a different subject altogether.
Yeah, he was trying to keep the fire off of his neighbor's property. I think like his
own.
He was trying to keep it off of his own. Okay, I thought he was trying to help contain it from spreading onto his
neighbors.
Was,
but keeping it from spreading.
He got
tased
by the cops. Like, I don't understand that.
No, you can't protect your own property.
Some people just want to watch the world burn.
Yeah, and there was another one just with the fire that they tased a guy from going into his own house to save his kid.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell you, that was one I saw that, and I felt very strongly about that.
Well, the cop was just serving and protecting the crap out of him. Come on.
I'm unreal. We should start something like the Dickhead Cop of the Week, and have one story that we kind of like vote on. Like, this is the guy. And start, because we talk about there's so many stories, but we don't really bring it to where we talk about what town it's in, what police department it is. But we should have the Dickhead Cop of the Week, and that's the guy. Like last week, it was the guy who shot the dog, and I think that we did give his info out. But it's like we need to start doing that.
Yeah, there is a sound clip that we totally have to pull for that, and I'll reserve what they say until then. But yeah, we should totally start a Dick Cop of the Week.
We can say that too. Awesome. FPRN Radio. We do what we want.
We do what we want.
Yeah.
I
think that's
we could mix in like an oblivious officer one. I've seen that a lot.
Well, I know that Adam was doing the civil disobedience of the week, I think, there for a while, but we got to do we could call it the Barney Fife, the weekly Barney Fife. we could send him something. We could send.
With how much goes on during the week, this is going to be a competition to see who can win.
I know. Now the show prep is going to go from 20. Like I think this week there was like 22 articles. It's like 45 of them, and it's just going to be some crazy guy from Great Britain that was a cop that did some crazy stuff. That we got to set rules. We're going to run with this, though. I'm digging it. We're going to run with this.
Works for me.
There we go. We can add a weekly. We got a weekly segment. It's our first weekly segment.
Awesome. Well, look at that, moving up.
We've only been doing this for how many months now? We finally got a weekly segment.
This is episode number 13, so we finally got a weekly segment now.
Weekly segment. Right. First guest caller that has their own theme music.
And I was concerned about this show this week.
I never get concerned. We have, man, there's so much. There's so much to talk about. And, I think that with having the callers, and we've had, I was talking to one of my friends, and they were like, I can't believe how many guests you guys can get to call into your show. And they're just quality people. Like, we've had people that are the kind of folks that, people like Pete, people like, George Donnelly, he's going to be a new big name, and Antonio Bueller. These are some of the biggest names out there, and it's awesome.
Speaking of big names, Eric, did you read that email I told you to read?
Yeah, I told the producers.
Did you?
We'll reserve that one until we actually have a confirmation.
Yep. That's a pretty big name, though.
There was an email?
Yeah, I'll forward it to you.
Okay.
See, we're doing like our show prep on the air.
That's right.
Hey, it's our show. We can do whatever we want.
Do what we want, yeah.
Yeah, we can if we want to.
do what we want. We just play music randomly.
No, I think that's actually our going into break music. So, we got to go to break. So be sure to stick with us through the break, and we got a lot more to talk about. So stick with us. You're listening to the Cop Block Radio Show on FPRN.
A treasure that could be taken away.
Tired of living in a violent society? If every citizen was armed, no one would be dumb enough to shoot people. It's exactly the ethos our founding fathers had when they wrote the Constitution and then changed it, which is what makes it sacred now. Come mingle with safety-minded people like you at the Liberty City Gun Club. Our nation is still the world leader in one thing, armaments. Nothing says excitement like a night out with a small caliber semi-automatic weapon. Get social at the Liberty City Gun Club.
Well, yeah, it's getting tough out there. Yeah, no doubt. I work in home invasions, mostly. Some murder, occasional rape, if she's hot, or really bitchy. And I'm a huge advocate of gun control, absolutely. Every time I kick in a door or smash a window, I face the possibility of being shot and killed. Allowing citizens to own guns creates a hostile work environment for me and my associates. No one should have to work under those conditions. I say make them all illegal, absolutely. I mean, I break the law for a living. I'm a professional, so it doesn't really bother me. No doubt. No doubt.
Your local violent criminals work hard and put their lives on the line every time they attempt to murder, rape, abduct, or assault a member of the citizenry. They desperately need your help. With your support, there may finally come a day when a violent criminal can have his way with you or someone you love without the fear, anxiety, and stress caused by knowing there's a possibility his victim might be armed. Please show your support by voting for stronger anti-gun legislation, because criminals prefer unarmed citizens.
Nothing is more American than Diamond Gusset jeans. 100% American-made since 1987. Soft and broken in from the start, yet more rugged and durable than any jean you've ever worn. Have you ever experienced missized jeans from China? Well, you won't with Diamond Gusset. Every pair is crafted to fit exactly the same and always feel like they were custom-made. Need a 35, 37, or 39 waist? How about a 31 inseam? We keep all sizes in stock for the fit you need. Looking for a relaxed fit, slim fit, regular fit, boot cut, or straight leg? We got you covered. Buy the world's best fitting jeans at gusset.com or call 1-888-8GUSSET. Get free Gusset targets for the next time you go to the shooting range with the purchase of their new Ranger jean. Use code COMFORT when ordering to receive free shipping on all Gusset orders at gusset.com. That's gusset.com to get only the best all-American jeans.
Do you have a group or organization founded on the principles of personal liberty, health freedom, or accountable government? We invite you to check out Same Side Entertainment. Same Side is a source for activists and liberty organizations to connect with well-known leaders in today's growing movement for sustainable living, personal liberty, and sovereignty issues. Same Side has a variety of keynote speakers, debate panels, interactive web presentations, musicians, and liberty-based entertainment, as well as services for web design, graphic design, video, and photography. Same Side can help customize your event by connecting you to the best of the liberty and political world while staying within your budget. Get connected with leaders in the liberty movement like Tom Woods, Kevin Gutzman, Jack Hunter, Robert Scott Bell, Bob Murphy, Michael Scheuer, John Bush, Jordan Page, Tatiana Moroz, and many more. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, and our website at www.samesideentertainment.com. Again, that's www.samesideentertainment.com. Same Side Entertainment, connecting you with the education and resources you need.
Hi, I'm Chuck Norris, a black belt patriot. If some thug breaks into my home, I could use my roundhouse kick, but I'd prefer he look down the barrel of my gun. And millions of other law-abiding families also rely on their Second Amendment right to keep and bear arms. Some politicians say they support your rights, but unfortunately, their voting records say otherwise. Protect your rights on Election Day. Check the candidates' records and see who stood up for your families and who protected the criminals. I'm Chuck Norris, and I approve this message.
Just let them try and outlaw those guns.
Thanks for listening to FPRN. Don't forget to check us out on Facebook and Twitter. You can listen live at www.fprnradio.com.
And welcome back to the CopBlock Radio Show on the FPRN Radio Network and hopefully syndicated across the interwebs. Tonight with me, I have Adam and Scott as always. And I'm getting word we now have Pete, who is the co-founder of CopBlock, on the line. Pete, you with us?
Yeah, good to be with you guys.
Oh, there we go. What's up, man?
Not much. I just want to call and hopefully just take up a couple minutes just to mention the pending tour that myself and Jacob Crawford have coming up, just so it kind of gets on folks' radars and whatnot.
Oh, yeah.
Cool. Awesome, yeah. So Jacob Crawford, for those that don't know, is a long-time cop watcher, been around for over a decade, and real active out in the Bay Area and real integral with some recent settlements and things that have come out, and he's created a documentary, and he has a site called copwatch.org, and me and Dave have gotten a chance to know him better over the past few years and collaborated on the video that's on CopBlock's About page. But he and I continue to collaborate, and he came out to Porkfest this year. I was really excited about that, and further brainstorming with him and Adamo and Toni Bueller and John Bush and other people, we thought it'd be a good time to go out and do a tour and try to connect all these different groups and people on the ground and reach out to like old school groups that aren't yet like online that much, but they have a lot of institutional knowledge and everything. So we're going to be planning to do a tour from mid-August through to December, and we have a few details up right now at copblock.org/tour. But anyway, just kind of want to get it out there, put it on folks' radar. So we might be rolling through your town, and if you have if you take some time and check out like the itinerary if you're in those areas, or have any leads or anything, we're definitely interested to hear. And if you have any input on that, Pete at copblock.org.
So where is your main focus going to be during this tour?
Well, we're going to do quite a bit. We're going to be working with the National Ordeal that looks like a little bit too, and they might help us get venue locations because Jacob did some good work with them out in Oakland. So we might do some like sort of know your rights, like show some video and then like do trainings kind of stuff, and that might be in an evening or on a weekend, just invite a lot of people to. We also want to get with the folks on the ground that we already know or we hope to get to know that are like the most active, and then really see like how we can help them or vice versa, just sort of connect with everybody. Like they might need help getting a website going, or they might have questions about certain technology or whatever. We might know, like we can put each other in touch with folks to, just essentially have a bigger impact. So that'll be another component, and we're definitely going to go out and do CopBlock and CopWatch and follow up with some stories. We're one month of this tour, we're going to be 4 to 6 weeks of this tour. We're going to be over in Cape Town, South Africa, so that'll add an interesting dynamic in terms of like the history of colonialization, I'll say, like with parallels between Jim Crow and apartheid and the vestiges of that through the criminal justice system, police and prisons. So some of folks on the ground that are known over there, have some interesting perspectives on things. So I think we'll be able to put out some pretty frequent, good content, and then afterwards chop up something longer, and help connect a lot of folks. So I think it has a lot of potential. I'm pretty excited about it.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, South Africa, is just kind of shows that the message is spreading across not just this country and our northern neighbor, but to across the ocean, which is awesome.
Yeah, definitely. So, yeah, I'm pretty excited. I guess I'll just look forward to meeting folks, and you know, I think it's a pretty timely issue. I don't know. I haven't listened to Ordeal show tonight, but I don't know if you guys talk about what was going on with Kokesh.
Yep.
And whatnot.
Yeah, we got the info out that George Donnelly created the video and the freeatom.net, so everybody can check that out.
Okay, so all right. Well, yeah, that's all I wanted to share. So just appreciate the time and everything.
Cool, thanks a lot. Yeah, maybe we can get a call in when you guys are over in South Africa. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, we're told. Jacob looked into it, and he said that my phone carrier is Virgin Mobile, and allegedly I just got to give him a heads up, and then everything transfers over, and my phone's supposed to be able to stream over there. So if that works, I'll still be using the Bamboozer /channel/CopBlock, and should be some pretty interesting things.
Awesome. Cool. Yeah. All right. Well, it's good to hear from you.
Yeah. Yep. Take care, guys.
Thanks.
All right. Thanks. So I think we managed to get Toni back, if Toni's with us. I hear something. Toni?
Oh, hey, how's it going, guys?
Hey. So.
All right, we had a little bit of technical difficulty earlier, as well as a very sneaky 2-year-old, so I had to run outside, and long story short, I had to get to another phone. So sorry to leave you guys hanging. No, it's not what I intended to do.
So yesterday you had the hearing, and pretty much immediately when you got there, they were trying to keep media out. So what happened with that?
Media and public out, yeah. So when we were in court, I had some legit people there by my side anyways. One of the first things they did was stand up and call my name. And when I asked for a continuance, tell me that I'm required to show up at August 13th now, when at my last court date I was refused a jury trial and told that I need to be prepared for court 2 days. So I think they had fully prepared to make some kind of lesson, or something just wasn't quite right with just their behavior and the sneakiness and just everything involved. But as soon as they saw that they weren't going to get away with it, they immediately, before anything else, before the judge even walked in, called my name and said continuance. So that was pretty interesting. I think they're hoping that the media will die down over the next month. But we'll see. I don't know. I think maybe some of the more mainstream media might, just because they're starting to realize just who they've been interviewing. This last one, I actually on Bamboozer.com, he was just mentioning Bamboozer.com/channel/MOKS CopBlock. My co-founder was able to get some videos, so we actually have the raw footage of the entire KCTV interview, whereas I don't allocate the time to watch TV or news or any of that. But so I haven't actually seen it yet, but I was told that it was pretty misleading, again, even more so, and they made a claim that I had, gone into court today and demanded a jury trial, and, that's why I was, so I'm not sure. I really shouldn't say because it's hearsay, because I haven't actually seen the newscast yet, and it is interesting because they haven't put it up on the website yet, archive-wise, which it's a little unusual, but, yes, I have some good experiences as far as Bamboozer and stuff lately, so you guys can definitely check that out. There's some video from the court. In the lobby. We're not allowed to, record in the courtroom, I guess, but in the lobby, I made it pretty clear that I thought we should, being we paid for it and all of that, and outside. So there's some interesting videos there. I mean, I don't really have a lot of experience taking videos or anything like that. That was just me being real in the situation. So I know there might be a little bit of profane language towards the end there, but
before the hearing, did you guys look into how to get cameras into the court to begin with?
Yeah, legality-wise, that's the discretion of the judge, and the judge is not having anything of it. They're trying to give me something. Now, it's my understanding that they told the reporter that they're now, trying to look at something other than the tires. So this was like almost a 6-month-old code violation, which they couldn't even give me a statute to, you know. So now they need more time to prepare, I guess, because they're just that baffled that someone is standing up and saying, no, you cannot have my resources. I have not hurt anybody. You're not going to steal from me, you know. So it's pretty interesting just seeing how it all plays out. But I don't know, something just definitely doesn't smell right. I guess we'll see. But there's still going to be a lot of local and alternative media on it, depending, you know, if like KCTV5 will be out there again. I'm not sure. I don't know. I really wasn't thrilled with how I was represented, but that's not really too surprising for those of us that, you know, try to keep up on current events as far as, you know, legitimate reporting all the time. But it's been an awesome experience, really. I've been able to connect with a lot of different people and all different kinds of people that are coming out of the woodwork, you know, overwhelming amount of, you know, supportive people from just globally even. I mean, from Germany, we've had donations, you know, potting soil from Texas. I mean, it's blown up really fast. It's been really neat. And I am grateful that in the first TV interview I was able to, that it did point out that I was choosing to not pay the fine out of principle, which, so while, you know, on the surface you read that, you know, you don't really get the whole gist of it because it's not really about tires, at least not for me. But that encourages people to maybe think like, that's, you know, what kind of principles might this person be talking about? And that's mainstream, like CNN. So I'm really curious to see how many people have been inspired even just to think a little bit differently. You know, I guess I'll never know, but it was really cool to see so many people, even local people, stand up and acknowledge that it wasn't absurd to stand up for yourself and your property. So it's been a really cool experience all around, regardless of what happens in legal land, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's good that you're showing the absurdity of some of these laws that, in your case, is completely a victimless crime. Nobody is complaining other than the state, and just kind of showing the absurdity of it all, and that they are inflicting force against you, who is a peaceful person and has harmed no one else.
I'm definitely getting some vibes of maybe some retaliation of some sort in the future, or I did hear the judge or the dress guy talking to the news reporter saying that they had received word that there was going to be 200 protesters, you know, and they have to do this, you know, because they're worrying about the circus and everything. And I was like, if you aren't doing anything, you know, these are the people that are paying your salary, buddy. What are you talking about? They want to stand outside and peacefully protest you as a judge. Are you really going to comment on that? And I was like, you know, I can only take credit for the things I've written and the things that, you know, I've been a part of. I was like, I did not know anything about a 200-person protest. I was like, but honestly, I would be surprised. But honestly, it'd be great if there was 200 people out here today, actually with the, you know, audacity to stand up for themselves and their rights. I was like, that'd be great. Did I hear anything about that? No. But we'll see what happens, I guess, in August, now that they're going to be so sketchy about it. So we'll see. We'll see. I'm excited to get this over with. I'm really, it's so ridiculous. It's not about tires. It's not about attention. It's about leaving peaceful people alone, you know. It's just so ridiculous. And that they're going to draw it out and try to bring it out like, oh, now there's some other concern, you know, we don't know what that concern is, but we're going to have, you know, and it's like 5 months old, so they're going to come up with something magically that occurred about 5 months ago or so, or I don't know. I'm honestly really curious to see what they could possibly, like, say. Like, I don't know. We'll see. We'll have a lot better video this next time, too.
Yeah, unfortunately, like you said, you just can't wait to get it over with, but it sounds at this point trying to keep it forefront in everybody's mind is probably the best strategy at the moment to make sure it doesn't go away and the support doesn't dwindle when they come back from their continued delay and kicking the can down the road. So be sure to keep us updated, and we'll make sure that nobody forgets about this.
Oh, yeah. And the point is, even if I am found guilty and I have to go sit in the cage, or whatever it is, this is not what I wanted. That's ridiculous. I don't want to go to jail. It's absurd. But, people have asked, did you win? Did you win? It's like, no matter what happens, if I'm acting in a morally sound fashion, and I'm saying that I can, close my eyes at night and know that I'm going to win no matter what. Even if I'm, have to squat and cough and get thrown in the cage for a little while, I don't walk into there nervous because I already know that what I'm doing is right, which is not, I've never had that overwhelming feeling of almost just not peace, probably maybe peace, calmness, even just walking into court like that. I've never had that before. So I've never acted in a way that I felt as righteous, I guess you could say, about either. So, I don't know. I guess we'll see what happens. Are they going to throw a peaceful person in a cage for a little while? I don't know. Would it be the first time? Maybe they don't enjoy my videos, but maybe that's a good indication that they should do some, reflection on their own behavior. And so, I don't know. That's not my job to do. We'll see how it goes. I'm excited to, once again, get this over with. So we'll see. I'll definitely keep you guys updated.
Yeah, what's the dollar amount that you're trying to get? They're trying to extract from you at the moment.
I can't get a straight answer about that either. It's that ridiculous. There's nothing on the ticket. There isn't a statute number or anything on the ticket. The prosecutor, when I was there last, the chief, I guess he calls himself a police, Herb Stoll, I spoke to it. I could tell it really took him off guard, how, polite and, kind of was or whatever. It's not, I could be direct and assertive without, being aggressive or mean or anything. But I guess the prosecutor wanted to, talk to me, and they wanted me to go into this back room. It's like, yeah, no, I'm not going to be doing that. I'd rather do this in public. And you could just tell that he was shocked that I even, not so much that I was polite, but I even was comfortable even suggesting something other than what I was told, And he kind of repeated himself, and I was like, yeah, no, I'm going to stay out in public, but I'd love to chat, But we would be, on record, but, I don't know, but, yeah, they ended up finally going into court, and then, they were like, well, you're going to stay. I'm like, I've been here long enough, I've got other things to do. That's actually a video, too, one of the last conversations I had at the courthouse. So I don't know what she was going to talk to me about. Probably offered me a plea deal of some sort, which is irrelevant. I don't even, people ask, well, how much would it be if you weren't fighting it? And honestly, I have no idea. It never even crossed my mind. I continued it until I had my decision, and I didn't even ask how much. So I don't know if it's $50, $100, I don't know. It doesn't matter. It's not the point. It's not about tires. It's about, not being stolen from, not bending over and not having oppressors and owning yourself and,
Yeah. In
does
the
your
end,
court system over there charge you for going to court? Do you have to pay a court fee for going?
I haven't been informed of any court fees, but it's pretty clear that I won't give their organization any federal reserve notes in any form or whatever they call it, whether it be court fees or bond or any of that. So I do have some people coming out of the woodwork that have offered to sponsor my appeal. I'm having some things put forward where I may accept some pro bono attorney work. Because even just paying for an attorney, that defeats the purpose, because I'm still taking resources from my family over, an absurd allegation. But there are some things coming out of the woodwork, and alternative media is definitely very powerful. It's why I respect what you guys are doing so much, because it's so hard to get going and take off. Alternative media is really powerful.
Have you tried to do anything,
I'm excited to see.
Have you tried to do anything, with motion to dismiss, or try to just flat out say, look, this is ridiculous, but the judge and the court system just won't dismiss it?
Yeah, I definitely made it clear that I think it's ridiculous. Well, then we're almost there, sweetheart. You're almost there with us again? Yeah.
And that's a good example right there that the town is going after, a single mom's resources when she's trying to raise her kids, but they are bent on trying to extract resources from her from doing that.
And it's just such fuss to come about just from one little person like me. I'm not doing anything incredible. You know, I've heard things like, wow, you're so inspiring, or, you know, things like, I'm just another person. I don't feel that I'm doing anything that anybody with some gumption can't do themselves. You know, here you go, baby. So that's one thing I really want to stress. Like, I'm not doing anything that anybody else can do. And if this much fuss is going to come after one little person, after some tire planters, you know, standing up and saying, hey, no, this was not yours, can you imagine what happened if even like 3 people, you know, a docket started doing that? Or just like, it's a chain effect. It's got to start somewhere. It needs the common sense, and it's got to catch on. I just hope that people realize that what I'm doing is not extreme. These are things, little things that people can do. Okay, well, I have a grumpy baby. Oh, did you think? Come on. But I really enjoy talking to you. Oh, you jumped the Powerade on you. I'm so sorry.
All right, well, we'll let you tend to that, and make sure to keep us updated with everything that's going on, and we'll make sure it doesn't go away for Sugar Creek, and that they're going to have to answer to what they've done eventually. So, thanks, Tony. We'll put the link up for the footage and whatnot, and that'll be all in the show notes after the show. You can find that on FPRNradio.com in the archive section. You can download the podcast version later if you didn't catch the beginning of the show, and it'll also link over to the CopBlock.org page for the show, where I'll post all the links of all the stuff that we talked about, so you can go check all those out for yourself. And yeah. You guys have anything else you want to wrap up before we close for the day?
No, I was just sitting here thinking about, you know, how they won't dismiss this. If you remember in the show notes, I was talking, or at the in the show prep, there was that article, and it was from St. Louis, of the cop that was videoed assault, like literally clear as day, assaulting a woman, and the judge dismissed it without even watching the video. And here's a case of, you know, clearly no victim, no crime, and they're like dragging their feet. But because it's a regular person and not somebody that gets paid through stolen money and has a funny little costume that they wear, you know, it's all sometimes all about who you know, sometimes it's all about who you get paid by.
Yeah. So to bring up something that Adam and I have been messaging back and forth about, we've been really lazy on setting up like a support the show type, you know, donation link or anything like that. But if you don't want to donate, you can at least get some merch. And we're hoping to have some T-shirts printed out with the CopBlock Radio logo on it soon. So be sure to stay tuned for that, and then we'll try to get a tip jar or something so we can have the ability for people to support the show if they want to do that.
We accept Bitcoin too. You got to do it, man. You're in the movement. You have to.
Bitcoin?
Do Bitcoin? Oh,
yeah, man.
Yeah, we'll have Bitcoin, at least, yes. At the very least.
I'm gonna start donating.
And of course, you can also donate to FPRN as well. They have a donate link, so you can, you know, support the network in general, which is always good too.
Bitcoin up to 87. Yesterday, 74.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw it dropped yesterday. I was upset. I was like, oh.
Buy. That's when you buy.
So, yeah, that's all we have for this week. Make sure to check out Line of Fire on Saturday at 6 p.m. And remember, until next week, that badges don't grant extra rights.
Well, you'll know me when you see me, 'cause my door painted white with my siren screaming and my flashing red light.
Thanks for listening to FPRN. Don't forget to check us out on Facebook and Twitter. If you'd like to start your own show with FPRN, advertise with us, or donate to the network or to your favorite shows, check out our website at www.fprnradio.com.
I'm the highway patrol. My hours are long and my pay is low, but I'll do my best to keep you driving slow. job on the highway patrol.